Hello everybody, this is Darkane from MetalUnderground.com, and I'm really happy to say we're at the Camden Underworld, or the Underworld in Camden, with Endeavour, British prog metal from Bristol.
What's up?
How you going?
How's it going, man? I will shake your hand.
Yeah, why not? Well, straight into it, you're here supporting Darkane tonight.
Yeah.
How did the partnership with Darkane come about?
I met them a year and a half ago. I was doing a festival when I was playing in Onslaught in Lyon's Metal, I think it's called, in France. They were the headliners of that festival. And I'd heard of them through Peter Wheeldor's association with Dream Theater, because he auditioned with Dream Theater. And then after that, I sort of became a fan of the band, saw the show, got in touch with the venue band, and just sort of hooked it up, really.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. He does the biz.
He does the business.
Yeah. I try. I try to help.
He does his own business.
I do my own thing.
He's a big boy now.
Only shots. Come on. I'm really small, look at me. Okay.
But as for yourselves, I mean, obviously the latest release is Bring Upon the Rising Day. I thought it was funny that on Encyclopedia Metal it's actually listed as a full length.
It is.
Yeah,
it's 3 songs and a cover.
Right.
No, it's not.
Well, rightly so, because bloody Spotify wouldn't. Spotify was like, nah, it's a single, mate. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's like nearly 30 minutes long, isn't it?
It's about 29
I still
minutes.
consider it an EP, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's an EP.
Yeah, I think it's like people then say, but yeah, that Yes is closer to the Edge is 3 songs and that's an album, but they're all like 20-minute songs, so that's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was made as an EP. I see it as an EP.
Yeah, I think
so.
It feels canon, though. You know what I mean? You know when you got like books or like it's like
it's not a Star Wars.
No,
fiction.
it's not like a spin-off. It's not a Rogue One.
It's definitely not about Star Wars.
It's not a Rogue One because it's good.
Yeah, it's actually alright. You know, I like Rogue One. I thought it was alright. I didn't like the main ones.
It was alright.
And proposing to you New Jersey style.
No, I disagree. No, I think yes, it is an EP. It's not a full-length album, but I mean, as the way things are, it still feels very much like that's a significant part of who we are and what we do, rather than a side thing. I think of it more in the way that kind of like Sap or what's the other Alice in Chains one?
Jar of Flies.
Jar of Flies. I don't. All other EPs I consider them as part of the.
Yeah.
Well, they're complete, I think, because sometimes an EP is just like, this is all the songs we had.
Here's some extra songs.
You know, and of not as good material, whereas it was like, this was like, we're going to do an EP and these are the songs and that's how it's going to work together. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Alice in Chains, obviously the closing track on the record is the Dead Bones cover.
Yeah.
Why the decision to choose that song in particular? And it's a little bit, I know it's a big influence of yours, but I think for a lot of progressive metal fans, to have an Alice in Chains cover is a little bit kind of left field.
Yeah. Well, it came up just because when we were tracking the EP, we went in with the 3 songs, and Jake, our drummer, we had 2 days scheduled to do drums, and he was going to be done really quickly, so on day 1 we were just like, well, what are we going to do with this extra time? And then we were just like, oh, cover, and then I guess it was you who suggested Alice in Chains?
Yeah, we kind of flagged it on the last minute.
Yeah.
But I think rightly so, because I think, we had the opportunity to do our cover, and it was one of those things where it was a shorter song, it was a less complex song, although obviously we did put our own spin on it, you put your own spin on it.
Yeah, well, because I remember we were going to do Man in the Box, and you were like, I don't know, but okay.
But yeah.
And then Ben and I quickly sort of like, oh no, if you did do that Bones, this is how it sounds.
Was a hard hit. It's become one of our staples.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
That's the right word.
Yeah. We play it pretty much every show. I think it's because it sums up, especially the way that we do it, sums up a lot about what I think makes us different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think we've always done the kind of dual vocal thing, which is very Alice in Chains inspired, and like I always feel we're very heavy. We're also very progressive, but I've always felt that we've got that kind of emotional realness. I don't want to sound too pretentious, but in the way that...
I know what you mean. It's not too lofty in the way that it's progressive.
Yeah, and lyrically, most of the stuff that we do is more inward and personal. And
it's a little bit darker. It's not about, physics or like the typical kind of like... I don't want to say nerdy, but like prog guys are into like stuff like that, and like, I don't know. history and stuff, you know.
Science
Right.
fiction books and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you get asked this like all the bloody time. Anytime I've been to one of your gigs, someone comes up. New material. When's it coming? How much have you got?
Well, we've got songs ready. We're actually tracking 5 songs right now. We've started bass, and I'm aiming to push this to get out hopefully by the summer.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully, yeah. But yeah, it's 5 new songs. It'll basically be kind of another EP. Because we thought if we do an album right now, it's been a couple of years since the last one. It might take ages. We want to get something out soon. So, but yeah, we've got 5 songs that we started tracking.
I mean, obviously, we'd love to do an album. I know that's what we were putting.
Yeah, and we've actually got songs that we've saved for the album.
Okay, cool.
So we kind of rearranged because we were going to do an album, then we sort of rearranged.
Yeah.
No, we'll save those for the album, and we'll keep working on that in parallel with the EP.
Okay.
Basically, so yeah, so a lot of stuff in the works.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that you and Ben have sort of stuck together through the years. I mean, just there's like albums worth. I mean, maybe not because obviously you cut it down, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and some of it's crap as well. You know?
Yeah. I've never heard anything you guys have done that suck. You know?
Yeah, well, you've heard of them.
Okay, alright, fair enough. But yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, I think creatively there's so much, like, I mean, you know, you're always writing regardless, right?
Kinda, yeah, just...
Yeah, there's so much creativity there. It's just like, it's just about, you know, narrowing it down and then the actual process of recording, you know. But, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start writing my vocals this week.
Cool.
Promise.
It's like...
But it's coming. Right?
Yeah.
No, I will.
Cool. Well, like I said earlier, you're based around Bristol, and Bristol kind of has a reputation for having a pretty decent music scene.
Yeah, there's so many other things you could say Bristol has a reputation for just then. I was just waiting for something really funny.
Mate, we're from fucking Swindon, we can't talk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But coming up through the Bristol scene, how responsive is it to your music in particular, and is there much room for progressive music and kind of fusion music and a bit more kind of left field?
Like in Bristol?
Yes.
A lot, actually.
It comes in waves. I find it's difficult. I think it's difficult for just any band because there's so many different genres. I mean, Bristol's really heavy in the sort of thrash or death scene, or it was for a while. So it was a little bit hard. I mean, actually, a lot of people that heard us who were death metal fans were like, "Oh, you guys are cool," but and then the term progressive became gent, and we weren't part of that, and then there was a big influx of those kind of bands, and I don't think anybody was adverse to us. I felt it was a bit difficult in all honesty, and it's not...
You mean in terms of like making an impact? A little bit? Yeah, I mean we weren't, like there was a lot of thrash and death kind of stuff going on, which was cool, but it was very like it had already been forged. I think that was kind of maybe off the back of like kind of Saragon and guys like that. There was, and obviously Onslaught, you know.
Well, yeah, there's a
which obviously was a lot.
heritage there.
Yeah, I think so. That Bristol had this strong sort of thrash death thing, which was you know wicked. But as far as what we were doing, you know, particularly I think one of the first songs that we did was Drying Memory, which is our thrash number.
Kinda, yeah.
And we're you know we're thrashy, but I think we've always had this kind of little circle of people that are like really into us. And then as far as the general metal scene in Bristol goes, people are like, oh yeah, they're cool. But like I'd like to think everyone respects us. But
yeah, no, I think everybody's made that clear to us as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, to build that hardcore, your fans is still really difficult. Yeah. I think it's difficult.
I think so. There's definitely mutual love.
Yeah.
But I think a few bands have come and gone with the prog thing. We were doing the One Nation Under prog thing for a while, which sadly can really continue with, at least for now. It might be a thing we'll do again. But that was cool. So we were having bands from Bristol and Bath and surrounding areas that were doing progressive stuff and pulling in bands from throughout the UK. And I think throughout the UK, there's definitely a strong undercurrent being on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed that progressive metal tends to do the best in terms of commercial success. Dream Theater, Threshold, they all sell quite well, and Anathema.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you call what Anathema do metal anymore, but it's still liked and respected by metal fans. Which kind of answers the question I was going to go into about the state of progressive metal and younger bands, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting question. Anyways, I mean, I do try to listen to. I haven't been out of the house in like 6 months, but like, no, but like, I think, you know,
Still got the wank stains on his jeans.
well, come on, man. I mean, I try to wash them out, but you know, like, no detergent can do that. But like, you know, I have a strong, you know.
Man. You got spit, don't you?
Well, yeah, that's. Let's, you know, we can discuss the tips and techniques.
Not the tips.
That's a bonus.
Okay, not the tips. Okay, alright, fair enough.
That's a bonus feature.
Boner features.
Bonus feature.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think again, like, I feel like the same's gone with metal in general, where obviously you've still got your strong, you know, you got your strong metal scene, and then but then metal itself has actually kind of seeped into more popular music. I think, particularly vocal wise. I think, you know, I think a lot of the kind of popular rock bands that, you know, all the youngsters are listening to these days all have like screaming in it and things like this.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I mean, like, yeah, because the pop punk metalcore thing kind of blurs the line a bit, so things kind of get cross-pollinated there, I guess. But
I feel the same things happen with the kind of progressive stuff. I think with, you know, your Peripheries and your Tesseracts and bands like that, like that progressive element of, like, you know, odd time signatures and, like, you know, trying to do things that are a bit more weird and freaky, have seeped their way into what would generally be the more kind of like younger kind of scene kids or whatever are doing it, and that's, you know, that's fine. You know, I think that's cool. But I think it's definitely going to come in waves. I think it always has, like progressive music generally has.
yeah, and right now I think, and this isn't a bash on bands who are in the start, I think there are some bands who say they're progressive when they're not, and they're just doing one element of what some of the progressive bands did and doing it a lot, and it's like, well, that just means you're doing one style. To me, that's not what progressive metal was, and I'm not saying we're reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but
but by its very name, it has to be forward thinking.
Yeah, the only reason I wanted to do progressive metal is because it just meant you could put anything with anything if it worked. Like, oh, I can. Because some bands, it's like, well, we can't have that death metal-y sounding riff because that's not our thing. It's just like, we can do that if it fits, not just shoehorn it in there.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's bands like Atheist and Pestilence that have been doing the progressive death.
Yeah, so there's already
a blueprint for it, if you like.
Yeah, basically just giving you the complete freedom to put any ideas you might have together without having to worry about, oh, that's not in our scene.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the tag ideally means you're a band that can express yourself sonically within the vague kind of, you know, not even that vague, but within the metal thing, but without being constrained.
Yeah, because the only thing I guess I'll say is what I don't want it to mean is that, oh, you're really technical and play loads of notes and just try to sound like Dream Theater. That's not what I want it to mean.
Or play a million genres in one song, right?
Yeah. You know? Or just do like the Meshuggah thing all the time, you know, not just one of those aspects, you know. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's about it. So thank you very much for taking time to speak to me today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
and I'll see you later for another stellar gig.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
For Stella and the gig.